Good morning and welcome to the video for April the 2nd for 4th grade. This covers the work from April the 1st, so a bit of an apology at the beginning. I was working very late with the middle school grades as far as getting stuff ready for Google Classroom for next week, and I forgot to actually post the videos so that they would go live at 8 a.m. So those of you that might have been waiting may have had to wait a half an hour or so for those to actually finish processing. So that you could watch the video from yesterday's work. So my apologies for that. Not an April Fool's Day joke where I forgot about you completely. Just made a mistake there. So let's go ahead and take a look at our problems for today. We were working with multiplication, and we are working with multiplying 3-digit or 4-digit factors times a single digit, or 2 digits times 2 digits, and the models that go with that. So this is a little bit different than the way that I learned it, because we are focused on more of the number sense kind of things and understanding why things work the way they do. So number one, our model shows us 300 plus 40, which gives us 340, plus 7, so 347 times 5. And that's going to go with letter C. I've went ahead and filled in the answers for this part because that will help us later on. So when students are having to work with one of these models, this is going to be 20 times 10, which is 200, 8 times 10, which is 80, 8 times 4, which is 32, 20 times 4, which is 80. And we can use these partial products to help us do mental math in theory. Once you get good enough at it, like I've been able to use this trick to be able to solve problems in my head without having to write them down. As you get better at multiplication and kind of can retain each of these individual parts, it is a way that we can do that more quickly in our head, as well as understand why we're doing it. So number two, which equation shows one of the partial products? So the only one that I currently have written down is 20. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not correct. I do have a 20 times 4, which is 80. So that's right here. This is this one. So I got confused as I was looking at it. Number three, what is the total product? So if I take 200 plus 80, I get 280, plus another 80 is 360, plus 32 is 392. We are going to use this part. So we want to figure out where we made a mistake. So we're doing 5 times 1,000, 5 times 400, 5 times 50, and 5 times 2. And so the one that doesn't match up with that is this one, where they wrote 5 times 40 instead of 5 times 200, or excuse me, 5 times 400. So that would be step 2. Number 5, what is the product? So I can go back up here and take a look at this. So I have 5,000. This one should be 2,000. So that'd be 5,000 plus 2,000, which is 7,000. 7,250, 7,260, and that would match with letter C. Write each multiplication problem in the correct box. So we are using a little bit of multiplication knowledge as well as kind of reasoning skills. So you don't actually need to solve all of these. So for instance, if I start with this one, I know that 28 times 2 is 56, and my trick from 3rd grade was to tell you to put an extra 0 at the end because we're actually multiplying by 20. So most of you should be able to do that one, and 560 is going to be larger than 500. I don't need to write that problem out. Same thing with this one. If I do 70 times 3, I'm going to get 210. So once I do 3 times 100, I'm going to get 300 plus 210, which means I'm going to have an answer that is larger than 500. If I do 30 times 30, I'm going to get 900, which is a lot larger than 500. So for those three, we probably wouldn't even need to write anything down. And I'm going to suggest that you probably don't need to write either of the other two down as well. So if I were to kind of estimate this, and I say I'm doing 20 times 10, I'm going to get 200, and then 20 times 6, I'm going to get another 100. But what I have left over is not going to be enough to make it up to 500. I'm going to be in the middle 300s for this one. So that's going to be less than. If I do 30 times 10, I'm going to get 300. If I do 5 times 10, I'm going to get 50. If I do the other two parts, I'm going to actually end up in the 400s. So this is the one that I would say you might need to actually write out. I believe it's 468 or something like that. So this one is going to go in the less than 500 box. Number 9, Michaela works on a farm stand. We're doing 127 pounds times $2 a pound. So that one should be a relatively easy multiplication problem. That should come out to, that is not correct. It should be 254, not 354. Sorry about that. Number 10. So I've written my partial products in for both things. So what they wanted us to figure out is which model is correct. Well, they're actually both correct. They just look different. So if I were to take this one and turn it on its side this way, I would have the 20 and then the 6, 50 on top, and then 7. So it kind of matches this, except we're numbering on the other side, and instead of this one being on the bottom, it's on the top here. So we're just kind of flipping the way the shape works. But all of the partial products worked exactly the same. So 20 times 50 gives me 1,000, 6 times 500, or excuse me, 6 times 50 gives me 300, 20 times 7 gives me 140, and 6 times 7 gives me 42. Those are exactly the same. If I do the traditional method for multiplying, here's what I would get. And so I'm going to get 1,482. So both of them are correct for that reason. They just look slightly different. So those are our problems for today. I do have a couple things. We are, again, working on Google Classroom, so there will be information going out about that to make sure that everybody's joined Mrs. Woody's class for that. I'm also have more information to pass along as far as Google Hangouts, so I'm going to try to plan for like 1 day a week for each class to be able to kind of get together and meet. You would need to be able to go to Google Hangouts and sign in with the Risen Christ email and password that you would use to sign into one of the computers at school to join that call. And then we can kind of just hang out and talk, and you can get to talk with your classmates or with me or both. So that's something that's coming soon as well. So hope you all have a great day. I miss you guys. Can't wait to see you hopefully on Google Hangouts here starting next week. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.